Welcome, everyone. We're about to take a journey through the Metropolis of Services. Now, this isn't just any city. It's a city in a constant, brilliant state of evolution. We're going to be your guides as we explore how this amazing digital city was rebuilt from the ruins of a really rigid past into the thriving modular ecosystem you see today. So let's start our tour, right at the edge of that old world.
To really understand the city of today, we have to start by looking at the past. We're standing at the gates of the old world, a place where digital landscapes were built like these massive, monolithic citadels. And they looked impressive, for sure, but as this proverb carved right here on the gates tells us, that rigidity made them incredibly fragile. They were, in fact, tombs for innovation. We're actually walking through the ruins of one of those citadels right now, and you can see the danger firsthand. Look around. A single tiny crack in the foundation. One little bug in the code, it could just race upwards, bringing the whole thing crashing down. The entire kingdom paralyzed. It was this fragility, this constant danger, that forced the city's architects to find a better way to build. And it was right here, literally amidst the rubble of their own creations, that the architects discovered a brand new foundational principle. They realized they couldn't just build stronger walls. They needed a completely new way of thinking. And it all started with a sacred contract that would govern every single interaction in the new city. This new principle was called the Universal Seal. In our world, of course, we'd call this a standardized API. The idea was simple but revolutionary. It decreed that every new workshop, every service, had to have a standard, public-facing entryway. This meant any citizen could use its function without needing to know a single thing about the complex machinery whirring away inside. It's a powerful contract. I don't need to know how you work, I just need to know what you do. And once you have that powerful idea of a standard contract, it leads you to the next great law of the city, the Polyglot Decree. Now, this wasn't just some technical rule, it was a cultural revolution. It meant that artisans from completely different lands, speaking totally different coding languages, could build and trade together. A craftsman working in Java could now seamlessly provide their service to a citizen who only understood Python. Just like that, the old curse of vendor lock-in, it was broken, and innovation just exploded. To help everyone really get these new principles, the city's founders carved 3 fables right into the walls of the main square. We can see them right over here. The first one teaches that a diner, they don't need to know the kitchen's secrets or the chef's training to order a meal. They just need the menu, the interface. Now, this next fable right beside it shifts our perspective. It shows an appliance drawing power from a standard outlet. The appliance doesn't care if that power comes from solar or coal or nuclear energy. The internal complexity of the power plant is completely irrelevant, as long as that interface, the outlet, is standard. And this last carving, this one, brilliantly illustrates the core desire of any user. A person at a vending machine just wants the snack, right? They press a button, they get a result. They do not need, and they certainly do not want, a complex schematic of all the gears and motors that deliver it. The interface hides the complexity, and that is the heart of the service philosophy. So with these foundational laws and these fables really baked into the culture, the very shape of the city began to transform. The old, sprawling, monolithic districts that just gave way to something far more refined, more agile, and so much more resilient. At first, the city was reorganized into these loosely coupled districts. It's an architecture we now call SOA, or service-oriented architecture. And this was a huge leap forward. But they didn't stop there. This design evolved into something even more agile, a city of granular guilds, which we know today as a Microservices architecture, or MSA. And this is where the new city gained its strategic superpower. This new guild structure meant that renovations could happen anywhere at any time without disrupting city life. You can see it right here. The shipping guild can be completely renovated, totally expanded, without ever having to close down the order guild. Commerce just never stops. The ability to perform these partial updates, it changed everything. The city could now react to market changes and citizen needs in a matter of hours, a feat that used to take months of painstaking planning and citywide shutdowns in the old world. Well, now, it was just another Tuesday. An incredible city like this is home to a whole society of master artisans, and each one has a very specific, almost sacred role. This division of labor is exactly what keeps the city running so smoothly. So, let's step into their workshops and meet them. So here we have the 3 main guilds. First, you've got the Stonecutter. Their entire world is one single thing, one noun, like a book or a customer. Then there's the ancient interpreter, a master of hiding the old world behind a modern interface. It's a necessary but temporary fix known as strategic debt. And finally, we meet the grand architect. This is the orchestrator, the one who coordinates the work of others to fulfill complex processes, the verbs like placing an order. All right, so we've met the artisans, but how do they all communicate with each other? The city can't function without a seamless flow of information. It actually relies on two critical methods. You have urgent messengers for those immediate wait for an answer requests, and then you have a citywide pneumatic post for tasks that can be handled in the background. Let's just watch the journey of a single order. It starts with those urgent messengers. We're talking about HTTP here, doshing back and forth to confirm the order is created. But now, watch what happens next. This is the magic. Once that order is confirmed, the architect uses the city's pneumatic post, a message queue like AMQP, to handle all the background tasks like logging and shipping. This is brilliant because it frees the citizen to go on their way, while the city's infrastructure handles the rest asynchronously.
Now, this bustling, efficient system is no accident. It is protected by sacred laws, what the architects call the High Taboos. And these are not suggestions. They are inviolable rules that prevent the city from ever collapsing back into its old, rigid, monolithic ways. The first law is crystal clear. No direct calls are ever permitted from the citizen-facing layers, the balcony, up here, down to the fragile foundations of the old world. If you did that, you'd be inviting the fragility of the past right into the citizen's experience, and the whole city would grind to a halt. The second law prevents the stonecutters, our atomic services, from talking directly to each other. Now, this might seem strange at first, but it prevents them from creating this hidden, tangled web of dependencies. That kind of web would choke the city's ability to change, and you'd be right back to the problem you were trying to escape.
And this third taboo, well, it's all about maintaining order. The old systems buried in the deep foundations must never, ever be allowed to bypass the city's governance and communicate directly with the modern layers above. This ensures all communication flows through the proper managed channels. And the final taboo is all about protecting the new world from the old. A brand architect must always use a wrapper, an interpreter, when dealing with the monolith. This creates a buffer, a protective shield, keeping the modern, agile microservices layer safe from the corruption and rigidity of legacy code. By following these laws, by truly embracing this new way of building, the city finally achieves what its founders dreamed of, the eternal renovation. It's the ability to continuously integrate new ideas and deploy improvements without ever shutting down. It has become a living, breathing system, forever evolving.
So, as our tour of this incredible city comes to an end, we want to leave you with a question. As you look out upon your own digital landscape, you have to ask yourself, what are you really building? Is it a living city designed from the ground up for constant, eternal renovation? Or is it a rigid tomb, just waiting for that one single, inevitable crack to bring the whole thing crashing down?